Welcome back to the Compiled Podcast. My name is Nick Wu, and this is In Between the Episodes, a shorter format where I talk about just a topic myself. Truth be told, I've been a bit busy with other things in life, and I haven't been able to sit down and plan out an episode well, and have a guest on to talk about some topic. However, I still want to try my best to keep up with the schedule of one episode per week. So there we have it, in between the episodes. In this shorter format, I will choose a topic I have some thoughts on and discuss them. They will be a bit more personal than those in the main episodes, but hopefully this gives another way to connect myself with our dear audience, and hopefully you get something out of it. And also definitely chime in the comment section if you have any thoughts or any personal details to share, and that would also be great. So this week I want to talk about morning and night routines. I understand that not everybody has one, and mine's a bit shaky as well, but I still want to discuss what mine is, and hopefully if you don't have a routine, that would motivate you to get one. So before we go into the specifics of the routines, I think we want to cover just briefly why have such a thing in the first place. So I think in a lot of times we live on habits, and if you cultivate a good routine, therefore a good habit on yourself, especially in the morning and at night before you sleep, it is a good boost on your mood, is a good boost on your productivity, and also it just eliminates a lot of the bad decisions because you've had it planned out. So you just stick with it, and nothing surprising would come up. Especially you don't want something surprising to come up just after you wake up or just before you sleep. So definitely try to keep up with some sort of routine. In my opinion, is a great way to plan out your life. But that being said, a lot of people are a bit more free than myself, and if you are if you're more free like this, definitely don't feel any pressure to I have to develop a routine or anything. It's just something that I want to talk about, and hopefully that gives you some sort of insight into how you might want to structure your life as well. So that being said, let's go into, shall we do morning routines first? So I'll just go over my routines first, and then I'll discuss some of the details and why I plan those as they are. So normally my alarm is set at 8 a.m., but it depending on the day, I sometimes get up before my alarm goes. So my alarm sort of is a last wake up call or something like that, and usually I get up before that, and the first thing I do in the morning after I wake up is drink water. So I always have some water next to my bed, so once I wake up I just drink it right away. And then after I get out of bed, and then what I do is I'll try to do some stretches just to wake up the muscles, wake up the body, and after that is sometimes I do a 15-minute cardio workout, and then followed by a shower. But I've not been able to keep up with this daily. I've definitely slacked off more often recently. So yeah, from my part, that needs to be more maintained than other stuff. So after that is breakfast and coffee. I am a coffee drinker. and I'm also a tea drinker, but in the morning coffee just feels a bit more right. And also, for breakfast, a lot of times I cook myself, so I can just pretty much do it all at home with a coffee brew, and that sort of eliminates me of the bad choice of going out to eat breakfast, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I just like it, you know, to be all sorted before I go for work or go out to do anything. And when I'm eating breakfast, I usually keep my iPad next to me or my phone, one way or the other. I try to squeeze in some time for some sort of reading, for tech news, or I'll pick out something that's interesting on the technical and non-technical side, and save it for after lunch or after dinner read, and that's probably it. So all of this comes together to be roughly an hour, maybe an hour 15 minutes, depending on if I want to do the workout or not. So I usually will be ready to start my day at around 9 or 9:15, and that's my morning routine. So I want to address some of the choices I've made. So first of all, the water thing is I think I've read it on an article somewhere. I'll try to link the article if I can find it. But basically, when you sleep, you're not taking in anything that includes water, but your whole body, your every body function that is run on some degree by water. So once you wake up, drinking water is kind of a way to sort of kickstart your organs or your internals to say, okay, this is time to get to work, and I think that's why I think honestly, drinking water is probably something, one of the best things I could have thought of to put into this, and it's worked for me very well. So I would definitely give it a shot if I were you. So yeah. Next step is stretching. Stretching is more for the just the mechanic and the body muscles and some of the joints to wake up, because you usually keep a single form when you are sleeping, and you're not moving for 8 straight hours. So once you wake up, it's nice to at least work some of the muscles and the joints a little bit, so they don't become too stiff or too uncomfortable. Next thing, the workout, the cardio workout is mostly for myself's benefit. If you don't know, I am slightly overweight at the moment, so I'm trying to lose some weight by getting cardio workout before breakfast. And I think that doing that before with an empty stomach will actually cause your body to burn more calories. I think I've read it somewhere. I'm not too sure. And then breakfast and coffee are pretty standard. I think everybody has some sort of that. If you don't eat breakfast, do please eat. Don't if you're worried about the time, or you're worried about the mess or anything, just go to a coffee shop and at least get something. Don't go through your morning without eating. Would be my suggestion, because I've done that back in uni when things get a bit rough, and then I start skipping meals and be like, oh, I can deal without breakfast, and I'll just get a bigger lunch. And in my opinion, it's not healthy. And also, if you don't eat, I found that if I don't eat, I get a bit more I get less energetic, and actually I can't think that clearly before I've eaten something. So not too much, but at least something. So if you don't have a habit of eating breakfast, definitely I would try to somehow fix it with either just plan out meals, or you can make it. You can even make it beforehand and just hit it with a microwave in the morning. That takes literally 30 seconds, and if you have it in like the one of the microwavable containers, you can just throw it in to the dishwasher after that, or just do it yourself. That takes virtually no time. So that's a bit, bit of a hack if you need it. And then reading is something that I'm trying to stick to as well. I realize, as time goes on, I realize there's so much more about tech and about programming that I need to learn, and also just keeping up with what's been happening, and maybe getting, because you can find something surprising that actually matters to you through like the newsletters or the website forums, or one way or the other. So it has worked for me before. So after that, I started to develop a habit of checking it every day. So then it always even if it doesn't work, I always learn something for the process. So it's a win-win either way. And the last thing I want to say is probably the whole length of the routine, because I think my routine, like, overall is quite long, depending on some of the other routines I've seen on the internet. So definitely needs to be tweaked a little bit, but I think it's worked well for me so far. And yeah, if you're on a time crunch in the morning, either try to wake up earlier or somehow skip one of the things that I've talked about before, I guess. And that's it for the morning routines. And let's move on to the night routines. So my night routines is probably a lot simpler than other people would like it to be. And I also don't really do that well at night sometimes. Yeah, so anyway, let's just go through what happens at night for me. First, so I start prepping for bed at 11 p.m. What I would do is I'll pull out the clothes I need to wear tomorrow, usually, and water. I will prepare some water beforehand next to the bed so I can drink in the morning. Then I'll do some light reading on non-technical stuff, and just something that's easy to read, maybe like a easy fiction or some sort of light news. I very rarely read news, but that would be a way to go. Also, sometimes if I'm too tired from working throughout the day, what I would do is I would listen to audiobooks for a bit. Roughly, this goes on for about 30 minutes, and then I'll turn off the lights and try to go to sleep. So I usually try to fall asleep by midnight, so I still get about 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day, which I think is what an adult needs, whether you are a man or a woman. So yeah, so that's part of the reason why I started prepping for bed at 11. I think I might move it a bit earlier in the future if I want to add more activities to do before night. But this has been my night routine for the better part of the year, when I'm in university, and also right now when I'm on sort of a transition period. So one of the things I want to say is, like, part of your night routine can be preparing for tomorrow. So that's why I try to pick out the clothes and put it on the counter and with the water, and so then I don't really need to worry about what to wear next morning if I'm on a time crunch, or even if I'm not. It's just nice to have it all set up when I wake up, so I'm not stretching myself too much in the morning. So that's that. And like reading and audiobooks is more of a personal preference. I do want a little bit of a period to actually wind down instead of going from, for example, like a coding session at night and then go straight to sleep. That's sometimes been hard for me because I also drink tea when I'm coding, so it keeps me awake for a little bit. Yeah, and then and then the last step is just trying to fall asleep. I think what I will do for that is I'll plan out an episode, a main episode specifically to talk about how sleeping and like some of the tips and tricks you can do to get a better night's sleep with a guest. So for myself, I don't really have that many tips for that because I think I'm relatively good at sleeping. So not many times I wake up throughout the night, and usually none, and I'm able to get through the night just fine. Yeah, so I think if you are sleep deprived or having problems trying to fall asleep, there's not much tip I can give, but maybe in the future we'll get a guest to share their tips. So yeah, that's all for my night routine, and overall I would just say that it's probably not necessary to have a night routine, but it's definitely better to at least plan out for tomorrow. Or one other thing I've seen people do is they will try to summarize the day, so they keep a journal or they just think to themselves about what has gone through during the day and thoughts on that. And I've seen other people that try to come up with 3 things that they are happy with or they are grateful for every day. I've tried it once for a period of my life, but it hasn't quite worked out for me. I get what he's doing, but I find myself saying the same thing pretty much every day. So at that point, the whole point comes a bit weak. So I stopped doing that. But so I think these are stuff that's worked for me personally, and I understand that everybody has different lifestyle, and I really appreciate it if you comment down below if you have some sort of routine or you have some comments on my routine that might make me able to take it and make it better. That would be fantastic. And yeah, and normally at this point we'll try to compile to a list of essentials, but I don't really have too much to say, rather than it's better to have a routine than otherwise, in my opinion. And also definitely being able to stick to a schedule will eliminate some of the temptation or opportunity of bad choices. So yeah, so hopefully you've got something out of this shorter episode. And I think next week is a bit I don't know what's gonna happen next week, to be honest, because I'm going on a trip next week, so my schedule right now is a bit uncertain. So I'll try to see if I can have a guest over and do a proper episode on the topic. If not, we will just do another episode like this with just myself, or we'll figure something else out. Yeah, and with that being said, thank you very much for listening to this episode. Again, if you have any suggestions or other things that I've talked about, or you have some topic that you want to hear us discuss, or if you want to be on the show, definitely let me know down in the comment section, or just reach out to me on Twitter. And yeah, it's been good. I'm glad I did this episode, and I'll see you next week.